Hey guys, Nish Quick here. So this is gonna be kind of a quick one, hopefully, and it's gonna be pretty much unscripted. I'm gonna try doing a few of these unscripted videos here and there, just short, quick ones. But based on recent murmurs and rumors going around on Twitter, social media, and all that stuff, I wanted to give my final predictions on what I think, or what I want. I'll say that. What I want for the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, or what many of us are calling it, Breath of the Wild 2, because as of now, still don't know what the game is called. Hopefully we will soon. Pretty much, I just want to give some, like, maybe story theories here and there. I do have a few. Mostly gameplay stuff and just overall what I want from this game as a sequel to one of my favorite video games of all time. Hopes are high for this one. Expectations are fairly high. I'm tempering them, but let's talk about Breath of the Wild 2. Also, yeah, if you enjoy content like this, analysis, reviews, usability studies, maybe even more casual discussions like this, subscribe to my channel, Nish Quick Pops, right down below, red button. Subscribe. Give this video a like if you enjoy content like this. If you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends, and ring that notification bell to not miss out on a new upload. Yeah. Without further ado, let's get started and talk about Zelda. So, some of you might know, Zelda is my favorite video game franchise of all time. And to new subscribers or people who just recently came across my channel, you might think, Zelda's your favorite? We won't stop talking about Xenoblade, but you may not believe this, but I'm only a 2-year Xenoblade fan, so I've been a Zelda fan for more than 10 years now, so a little bit of perspective. Breath of the Wild, when it released, was my first open world game, and before playing it, I was very hesitant if Zelda can be, like, thrown into this genre, and it worked. It worked very well. I don't want to go into detail on that, that's a story for another time, but how can they improve from what they've done with the original first Breath of the Wild? I have a few ideas. So, we've seen 2 official trailers for this game. One at E3 2019. We saw Link and Zelda exploring what we understand as of now to be on the depths and catacombs and the underground of Hyrule Castle, where we see a corpse, and we in the Zelda community are theorizing and assuming that this corpse is none other than Ganon's human form, Ganondorf, who has not been seen in a mainline Zelda game for, let's see, 16 years. It's been that long. If I did my math right, it's been 16 years since Twilight Princess and we've last seen Ganondorf in a mainline Zelda game. I'm not talking about Hyrule Warriors because spin-off, not canon, whatever. That's big. That's big in itself. Everyone's first assumptions when that trailer came out was, we're gonna explore the underground of Hyrule. It's gonna be Hyrule and the underground, because Eiji Aonuma did give a very interesting statement with this reveal trailer saying that he's not done exploring this same Hyrule that we've explored, so what more could we explore here? I'll get to that in a bit, but underground. What could be underground? We saw a lot of Zonai carvings. Maybe the shrines from above are gone. Sheikah shrines are gone. Maybe you go underground and do Zonai shrines. Maybe they're different, more combat focused. The underground is weird because we have seen the underground be used a lot in a recent game that came out this year, none other than From Software's Elden Ring. You see random caves that take you underground with enemies that just want to kill you. It's brutal. But in the end, whatever cave you're in, whatever catacomb you're in, you find a boss, you defeat the boss, however difficult it might be, you get their treasure, and you win. So, it's like levels. But I imagine Hyrule's underground to not be like the Lands Between's underground. The Lands Between had separated catacomb caves, which kind of felt like dungeon-like levels. I feel like Hyrule's underground, if we go underground, it'll be like a sprawling labyrinth of like a cave, which suddenly it's dark, and then you suddenly go to an area full of luminous stones and it's all lit up. Suddenly you go to this other area and then maybe there's like sunlight coming from above. It's just variety of locations and variety of level design, I guess, is the best way to put it. That's what I hope to see. So I did just talk about the underground, but let's talk about something else. So the second trailer for Breath of the Wild 2, released in E3 2021, showed something that some of us did kind of predict, some of us did not predict. I personally didn't predict this myself, but some content creators I follow did predict this. Most notably, one of my favorite Nintendo YouTubers, Andres Restart. Shout out to him. I remember last year, before like around May 2021, he was like, if we see Breath of the Wild 2 in the Direct, I hope to see sky exploration. That's what we got. We got sky exploration. And the only thing him and his other friends were basing it off of was the fact that Hyrule Castle looks to be raising off of the ground. So now, yeah, we're in the sky. Skyward Sword connections, hopefully. But my point is, I really want the sky to not be like Skyward Sword. And in the sense that Skyward Sword's sky was very empty and barren and kind of boring, honestly. Boring in the sense that there were lots of small little islands, but the only thing you can really do there is just get goddess chests that have been sent out from your goddess cubes, and also a few side quests to get gratitude crystals. That's it. What I loved about the original Breath of the Wild is that the land of Hyrule had so much to do in it. Every nook and cranny felt like there was something to do. Maybe that something didn't interest the player, but there was something to do there. Hunting animals, cutting down trees for wood, solving a Korok puzzle, finding a shrine, solving the puzzle to make the shrine appear, meeting NPCs, meeting characters, finding a stable, finding horses, finding quests or side quests from NPCs. I personally did not feel bored playing this game at all. But how can that be translated to, like, the sky? What could we do in the sky? We saw some strange robotic creatures. Are those our guardians of the sky? Will there be dungeons in the sky? That's the big thing. Will there be dungeons in this game? I think sky dungeons will be very cool because the series has not shied away from that. We've seen that in Twilight Princess, we've seen it in Skyward Sword. I feel like, well, we've seen it in the Minish Cap too. That's another game that's had sky dungeons. But I feel like having dungeons in the sky, the actual land of Hyrule, and the underground would be really cool. Just having layers of Hyrule to explore would, I personally think, would actually warrant Eiji Aonuma's decision to continue to use the same map. Because of course you have underground, you have the sky, but I think with Hyrule Castle raising up to the sky, I think scientifically, plate tectonics wise, and just overall malice destruction wise, I think it will have shifted around a lot of things within Hyrule. I can really see them making some big differences. Like, what if, like in Ocarina of Time, what if Lake Hylia what if there's like some drought, dries up the entirety of Lake Hylia, dries up the entire lake. You can go inside, maybe you find a dungeon, maybe you find a cave down there. That would be pretty cool. What if there are some dungeons that take place in multiple layers of Hyrule? One part you have to do in the ground, and then you reach a checkpoint. Oh, next part you have to do maybe in the land, and then you complete it. Or vice versa, one part you have to do in the land, then you have to go to the sky and finish the dungeon there. Or what if it has all three layers? what if in this game you can actually swim and dive? Because that would be so cool. That's something I missed in the original Breath of the Wild. You could do it in basically every other Zelda game, but not Breath of the Wild. This game is using the full power of the Nintendo Switch. I feel like they can make it happen. So, with that you have land, sky, sea, underground. This is shaping up to be a pretty awesome open world game, but I don't want to get my hopes up. Maybe it's a curveball they throw at us. Maybe it's none of these. Maybe it's just the sky and the land. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm ready for anything. So there's a few other small little gameplay things I want to mention, and those are mostly like Link focused, combat focused, and gimmick focused. So combat wise, I don't think much is gonna change, which is fine. I think, in my humble opinion, Elden Ring is the better game for combat, and I don't think anything has really changed post Elden Ring's launch when it comes to Zelda, if that makes sense. What I mean to say is I don't think the Zelda team saw Elden Ring and said, oh, it was such cool combat or such cool bosses, and they might have changed it. I do hope there are better bosses in this game though, please. Combat wise, I do want some ability or way to kind of strengthen your weapons. I personally didn't mind the weapon durability in Breath of the Wild. Some people did. Maybe have some way to strengthen your weapons or make it so that you can fix them. Gimmick wise, from what we've seen, we don't have the Sheikah Slate anymore. We have that arm thing. So I think that's really cool. The fact that you can stop things in your path and then kind of reverse their movement. That's cool. That's what we've seen. That's all we've seen of that so far. And we've also seen Link phase through objects. So from like the bottom of like a small pond, he goes all the way up to the sky, phases through like some like rock or some floor, comes up, right? I really hope you can use that in dungeons, and it would be cool if there's some puzzles like around that. Maybe you have to go all the way up, you just phase through, like do the raindrop thing and go all the way up. I don't know. Just I feel like the Zelda team can get very creative with that. Or even just like a wall right in front of you. Just phase through the wall. I don't know. I'm just spitballing at this point. So let's talk about story. I'll gloss over this a little. Not too much because I don't want to get too much lore specific. I know way too much about Zelda lore for my own good, so I don't want to get started on a tangent about the timeline and all that. What we are seeing right now is that there's a lot of Skyward Sword connections in this game. You're in the sky, diving in the sky. You have Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf. Ganondorf is the most evil, menacing, and cruel he's been and looked. It's giving me Demise vibes, that's all I'll say. But also, we haven't got any new footage this year, but we did get 5 seconds sort of new footage when Eiji Aonuma delayed the game to spring of 2023. And in that footage, we see Link take out the Master Sword and it's damaged. But the Master Sword glows. And it has a very interesting glow to it. And in Breath of the Wild, in one of the later memories or cutscenes in the game, the Master Sword also glows, that same glowing color, that same light blue. It also has an interesting sound to it. It makes an interesting sound. If Nintendo brings back Fi, I will be very happy. I know a lot of people despise Fi, but I personally enjoyed Fi's inclusion in Skyward Sword, and technically Breath of the Wild, but yeah. I'm very excited for this game. I think that it's gonna have a more in-depth story, I have no idea what the story is going to be about, and I want to be surprised. And Zelda games have always had good stories, but it hasn't been very, like, in your face, if that makes sense. It's just a very nice, simple narrative that's easily digestible, and I want this to be that as well. Breath of the Wild kind of lacked that with the non-linear and open-ended narrative. I want a Skyward Sword level story. So, those are some of my thoughts on the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is the longest gap between any Zelda game mainline, and I've been fine. I've been playing other games, making more theories about it, but I am curious what this game will turn out to be, being the sequel of a game and using some similar assets. But yeah, it's coming next year, early next year, and I think it'll be very good. I think we will be very, very happy, very surprised, basically I think the wait will be worth it, and I'm very excited for it. So yeah, that wraps it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was my first real unscripted video, so I hope I did alright. But if you like videos like this, discussions, analysis, video game reviews, usability studies, all that, more Zelda stuff, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, stick around for more content. Yeah, this is Nishquick signing off. Have a great day. See ya.